Welcome to the world's first virtual international stamp show, brought to you by the Philatelic Trading Society, Virtual Stampex. This is a short demo aimed at prospective booth holders to help you better understand what to expect from the virtual concept. As well as the PTS and Stampex international websites, Virtual Stampex will have its own dedicated registration and login page. You should be able to see that now. This is an example of what the Virtual Stampex one will look like. Our Stampex branding will be across the page. There will be an area for visitors to register either in advance of the show, during the show, and then obviously log into the show. There will be a little bit of information about what to expect with Virtual Stampex and why people should attend. Some information on the highlights, including our virtual booth hall, our Stampex talks and the Court of Honour, a little bit of information about time and dates, and some logos of our sponsors and booth holders. It's worth saying that our registration for this event will be kept as simple as possible. We'll be asking visitors to give us their first name, last name, email address, and country of residence. We don't want that a long registration form to be a hurdle for people coming to visit the show. So I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to log into a few different shows so that I can show you some different examples. Again, I'm just starting at that login page so you can see, this is again very similar format to the one I just showed you, which we will build. I'll just log into these ones. And this one, it's worth saying that the speed that these are going at, this is the speed of my Wi-Fi that's the constraint here. There's no bandwidth or loading issues with the show itself. We can have as many booths and as much kind of data files, images, etc. as we want. But you as a booth holder and visitors need to be able to at least stream kind of a YouTube video or a film online. That's the kind of speed that we want to be able to experience the event. I'll just show you quickly the lobby design that we're going to have. So you can see there's a lobby design here. This is the lobby design that we've agreed that we're going to be having for Virtual Stampex. There's going to be a booth hall. The auditorium will be where Stampex Talks is hosted. And we also have a Court of Honour, a world-class a new app, which we're going to be highlighting at the show as well. So this is an area for premium booth adverts linked directly to booths, and there's an information desk in the middle for people who are coming into the show. So this is roughly what the show will look like. When people first enter the show, the Virtual Stampex event, there will be a video available. It will pop up to welcome people to the event. At Physical Stampex, when you walk through the main door, we do have an information desk which is over to the left. But we want to make sure that, particularly for people who've not been at a virtual trade show or event before, that they feel welcomed, that they know what to do and how to navigate the show. And so that's part of our welcome that we'll do. And we obviously know that one of our hurdles is just going to be making sure that people can interact with this and get used to the experience. But it's very intuitive. Here, for example, if I want to go into the expo hall, I click on the expo hall. If I want to go to this booth, I click on the booth. I'll show you a little bit more about what that looks like in a second. But if I want to go into the Stampex Talks auditorium, I click on the auditorium and it takes me to that. Equally, there'll be, as I mentioned, an information desk at the show. That information desk is front and center, again, to make sure that as people are coming in, that they feel fully supported at our Virtual Stampex show. And if I just click on the information desk here, people will get to, they'll click on it. This information desk will be staffed 24 hours a day during the live event by both PTS and Stampex team members and by the technical support team from the sort of software provider that we're working with. That means that if a visitor does not really know how to navigate, doesn't know what time a Stampex talk's happening or how to get to a dealer they want to meet, or they get a bit confused as to as to how to navigate the show or how to add things to the briefcase, they can ask that information of this live staffed information desk. We'll also have a virtual show guide available, similar to the physical Stampex show guide, highlighting our booth holders, but also some information about the PTS and Stampex. And we can use this area to highlight things like why all booth holders at Stampex are PTS assured, why that's important to look for the shield, links to be able to buy the last Stampex smiler sheets and that kind of thing. So this information desk will be available to all visitors. I'm just going to head back into the lobby. And now I'm going to go into the booth hall. Now I'm going into the booth hall here in this example, but I'm just going to jump over to a different company, which their exhibit hall looks a lot more, their booth hall looks a lot more like how ours will look. So I'll just click into that, and here we go. So this is our scrolling booth hall floor. You can see here a number of booths, and visitors can find your booth in 3 ways. They can scroll left and right along the show, looking for booths that they want to engage with. The first thing here to say is that it's about using your booth's layout, the images that you have, to be able to make your booth stand out. The premium booths will be at the start of the scroll, followed by standard booths, and then simple booths. That's how the majority of the booths will be laid out. And then once a visitor wants to say, oh, that looks nice and bright, let me click on that one, they just click on the booth and that takes them to the booth. I'll give you a little bit more information about the booth next, but just I'm going to go back onto the floor for a second. And at the top of this bar, there will be information about the Stampex talks and the virtual briefcase, which I'll come to. We're also going to add a search bar to the top of this screen. And the reason why we're doing that is we already have confirmed over 50 booths with some applications still being processed, and we're still in quite early stages of booth sales. So we know that this scroll is going to be quite long. We also know that some of our booth holders have a company name, such as I'll use the example Stephen Taylor, and people might not be sure where he is, or if he's coming under S for Stephen or T for Taylor in the show guide. So they can use this search functionality and just put in Stephen or Taylor, and they can enter that, and it will take them to the booth, and they'll be able to click on the booth and engage with that particular dealer. I'm going to go back to the floor for a second and just show you the third way in which visitors can find you and your booth. We will have a booth index here. We won't be using the word exhibitors because obviously that has a slightly different phrase in our world, but this will also allow visitors to scroll through and look for the dealer or the society or the auction house or the supplier that they're looking for. And when they click on that name, again, it takes them directly to the booth. So that's the 3 ways of navigating. Scrolling floor, have a little look around, search for the member you want to go to see, or scroll through this index and find your booth that way. So let's just go on to a booth and see what's going on. This, just by the nature of this, we can see this as an example of a premium booth because there's quite a bit of space here to be able to add images and links. And there's a number of links across the bottom here that you can see. There's also a description box that all booths will have, and that allows you either to put just a little bit of information about your business, but you could also add more information here about why you're at Virtual Stampex, special offers you have for the event. And with the show being 24 hours a day for the 3 days, we know that some booth holders don't intend to staff their booth for 72 hours. Some absolutely do intend to shift pattern, etc., to be able to do that, but some will have specific chat hours based on their time zone. So for example, in this description box here, you could put something like, I am available, or our booth reps will be available from 8 AM to 4 PM UK time for the 3 days. You can kind of set expectations as to when your chat hours will be, and I'll come to chat in a second. Just want to find an example for you of where there are where the images link in. So if I just choose another one and see if this is linked in. Yeah, so you can see here that my cursor on these images is actually, they're not just images, they go somewhere. I'm not sure where they go, somewhere to Dell, there we go, Dell event. So that's gone, or this is the Dell booth, so it's gone to a Dell web page. So on your booth, you can also choose to hyperlink your images and videos. It's another way of adding links in, as well as having these links at the bottom. So you might have a link to, say, your online store, your eBay shop, you know, a link to sign up for the your mailing list, follow me on Instagram, and join our you know, Zoom chat that we're having offline at this time. It might be a link to a competition, as you know, contact us here, although we do have the chat room, you know, that I'll come to. You could have just your telephone number here and just link that straight on. There's a number of things you can do there. We have had the question, how do I add my kind of 80,000 eBay items onto the booth? Well, the answer this time is you don't. For sales, you will punch out, you will link to your eBay store or offline store, or you might have, you know, a price list or a mail order form also linked onto your stand. There's also an area here, which is a documents section. Again, depending on your booth type, how many links and documents you have, you can add documents here. These might be price lists, catalogs, application forms for society membership, or as I said, a mail order form that you can add here. We're not going to be calling our area swag bag, but effectively, for any of the documents you do upload onto your booth, visitors can view those within the show, or they can click on, we're calling it a virtual briefcase, and they can add or delete those documents to their briefcase. I'll just show you what that looks like. They can go to then their virtual briefcase up here in the top navigation bar, and all of the documents that they've added to their briefcase throughout the show will be listed here. So another top tip is to name your document something where they'll stand out. So it's not just catalog, cost catalog, but it's, you know, people can see and view and remember what it is that they've actually taken from the show. And they can choose to email those documents to themselves or to others, or at the end of the show, all of their virtual briefcase is emailed to them. I'm just going to show you the different booth types and just explain a little bit more about how many images and links you have. So the first thing to say is that if you're taking a simple booth, there are 2 spaces here. This is a simple booth format. There's just the one format to choose from. There's 2 spaces for the images here and here, and you can have 1 link or 1 document on your booth. So that effectively on this example would be 1 link, you know, to an eBay store or to your own website, across the whole stand, including these links here, or 1 document if you want to choose a document. Although it's worth saying the document will be uploaded. We will be asking people to provide all their files and links, you know, no later than about 4 weeks before the event. So if you do send a document to us, it will be uploaded, and that will then be static. Whereas obviously, if you decide to host a document, a price list or whatever on your own website and link to that instead, you have a bit more control over keeping that up to date, either in the run-up to the show or during the show itself. For the standard booth type, a little bit more space really. So these are the 2 booth options. You can choose one of these for a standard booth. And as you can see, there's a bit more space to be adding branding onto that, or indeed just as you're scrolling through the floor, you know, some ability to make your booth stand out. And you can have up to 5 links or files on the booth. So again, going back to this here, it would be up to 5 links or documents across these different channels here. That would allow you to have either links to shops and social media and mailing lists, etc. But it also, you might decide to have a link to a particular area of your shop. So Penny Blacks, and then a second link, Penny Red. So you might choose to use your links in that way. For a premium booth, there are 5 different formats to choose from. You can see here again, much more space to be able to put your own branding and promotions out there. And also there are unlimited number of links and documents that you can upload. So whilst a simple booth, we would say, you know, it's a kind of, you know, it's one link, so it's quite suited to people with a low level of online activity at the moment, or societies who want people to kind of punch through their site and find out a little bit more about them or apply. For our standard and premium booth holders, you know, if you've got several catalogs or price lists, or you want to upload lots of high resolution scans, or you want to point people, you know, quite specifically into different areas of your website, you know, having that extra number of links would be advantageous to your booth. It's worth saying that these little avatar people, you can choose to have which avatars to have. Unfortunately, for this particular show, you can't have your own face. That's a customization that we may look into for future virtual Stampexes. But you've got a range of different avatars, ages, you know, skin color, hair color, you know, types of clothes they're wearing to choose from. For some booths, you know, a generic person is fine. For some of our booth holders, we know that the person is who people are looking for. So as they're on the floor and they're scrolling through, as they would walk around the Business Design Centre looking for the person, we would recommend that you use one of the spaces on your booth to be able to put a picture of yourself or your team members. So again, as people are scrolling or as they're navigating, having a look down around different booths, they recognize you by having a picture on your booth. I'm just going to head into the lobby. As you can see here in this lobby, there's an announcement. I'm going to go into the exhibition hall. The announcement's still there. I'm going to navigate back using the upper area here into the lobby or into the auditorium, and this announcement still appears. This announcement is something similar to a tannoy loudspeaker, you know, voiceover at the Business Design Centre. This allows us as the events organisers to push information out to visitors, and it appears wherever they are in the show. And this might be something like a Stampex talk is happening in, you know, 5 minutes time, or it might be that for particular booths, you know, we will do some promotions. So for example, booth B7, you know, member name is running a, you know, 10% off deal or a competition or running a live auction now, visit that booth. And so we can push notifications to that. I'm just going to show you what the chat functionality looks like now. So you've got visitors clicking on videos, on images, on links here, and you know, that's one way of you making sure that you've got your brand out there, but also you've got you know, the opportunity to sell through links to your shop. But the real advantage of Virtual Stampex is that two-way communication. So every single booth will have a chat link here. And when you click on that, it brings up a chat screen similar to Facebook or I'm just going to go on to this one quickly, onto Facebook or you know, WhatsApp or whatever. You can chat in 3 different ways. You can chat via text, via audio, or via video, and it's fully integrated in the tool. So there's no need to have a Zoom download or you know, Skype download. Nothing appears, you know, as an exe link or anything. If someone wants to chat with you, they click on a chat link and they're taken straight into this fully integrated tool. You can then see there would be something saying direct messages up here where you've got one-to-one conversations going on with people, or you can move people into chat rooms so you can chat to multiple people at the same time. You can type away with the chat, you know, or, you know, what is there something in particular you're interested in, or you can hyperlink, oh yeah, you want to see a bit more information about what I've got in stock on this, you know, here's a link to this section on my shop, or, you know, here's some information about how you can get your stamps valued, whatever you want to do on text. And you can be having multiple conversations at the same time via text. So if you're on your own, on your booth, you've got 1 rep and you've got 10 people that's currently chatting to you both, you can do all of that via text. You can move someone into an audio or video. There'll be a button up the top here which will allow you to move someone from text into audio and video, and it will simply either the audio will just start, the sound will start going on your machine, and the video, there'll just be a very small pop-up here which you can open up, which allows you to have video chat. As soon as you go on to audio or video, you only chat with one person, and everybody else will be waiting for you to come back from that. If you have multiple booth reps, so similar to physical Stampex, where you might have 3 people behind your stand, you can have 3, or you can have up to 10 reps on your booth, which means that you can be having up to 10 audio or video conversations, those one-to-ones with visitors. You can also have 2 or 3 booth reps, again, chatting with different people, either in private chat or in chat rooms. We will have a chat room as well for booth holders with the central organising team, similar to Megan walking around the floor checking that people are okay, or at the BDC going into the office to ask a question. There will be a chat room for all the booth holders if you need any technical help, or indeed if something's happened, like a Stampex talk has just finished, we might text all booth holders and say something like, Stampex talk's just finished, there's now 2,000 people going onto the floor, so be ready. If you do receive someone coming to your stand and opening the chat function to engage with you, you'll get a little ping, whether that's on your computer or on your phone, however you're managing this. So if you are off making a cup of tea or having a little snooze, there will be a noise, so you're alerted to the fact that someone's at your stand. Over the next few weeks, as we get the registration page up, we'll also be providing all of our booth holders with an indicative number of people who are attending and in which time zones they're attending. So you've got an idea of what the visitor numbers might be like and where those visitors are coming from, to help you think about how to staff your stand. But as I said, you can alternatively simply put on your description of your booth itself some information at the bottom saying when your chat hours are available. So I think that's it for now. I hope that you found that helpful. We do have a number of ongoing demos and Q&A sessions available. I will just show you how to view those. So it's on the pts.net book a booth is the website address. And that you can find there, you can book your booth using the form. And there's the full information pack, which I've kind of shown a little bit of here, which gives you a little bit more information as to things to consider. And you can see here, and we're keeping this up to date. We're adding these, every few days, links to register for a live Q&A session with the team. And we're trying to make sure those are done across all the different time zones so it works for you. You'll also see on this page a list of who's already confirmed with their booth. So we'll let you go and have a look at that and peruse. Yeah, as I said, I hope you found that useful. And if you have any questions, you can just get in touch with the team, email or phone. Our details are on the pts.net. Thank you very much.